Guys, and welcome. If you're watching this, that means you're doing your neurolocomotor head and neck posting. And I can assure you it's an interesting posting. However, there are some things I want to tell you off the bat. One is a volatile posting, meaning you'll be learning a lot of abstracts. The brain is, as it is called, the 3 pound universe. It's so small, but it's so big. I mean, in terms of when you start, unraveling the content of it. Your neuro posting, I should tell you the full name of the posting. It's neurolocomotor head and neck and back. It's a large posting. It's a 10-week program, but it's actually a large posting. It's not as large as GIT, UGS, endo, and extremities, but it is actually considerably large in itself. And you'll be learning a lot of, white matter and dark matter and all those kind of things, and black matter, not dark matter, and gray matter, not dark matter. Anyway, now for your neuro posting in anatomy. Anatomy is going to be subdivided into head, neck, and back, and then neuro anatomy. Neuro anatomy will be the study of the brain and the spinal cord, while head, of course, neck, and back will be the study of those parts of the body, respectively. And your source of stuff for anatomy. Now, for your head, neck, and back, if whatever textbook you are familiar with, Teresia, COA, Last Anatomy, all good. Just continue with them. And I can also tell you that your lecturers will actually give you a substantial amount of materials for even neuro and head and neck. However, if you want a continuous stream of similar material, use the textbook you are familiar with and then start and continue immediately. There's also cranial nerves in the study of the head, neck, and back. So I want you to also be aware of that. Is a large posting. Do not estimate the volume of the posting. Now, neuroanatomy, a good source of stuff for neuroanatomy can either be Professor Indebi Singh's Anatomy, Neuroanatomy, the Indian book, or you could go for the American book, Snare's Neuroanatomy. Both of them are reliable sources of stuff. Whatever you do in anatomy, either ways, whenever you read, make sure your atlas is by your elbow so you can actually look at those things. Not just look at them, also have that skull bone and then those vertebral bones so that you can actually see those things you are studying. When they talk about a foramina, take a piece of thread or broom and put it through that foramina so you will know, because there are plenty and they all have abstract names that you might not be familiar with. So it's very important that you have the skull in your hand when you're reading head and neck. Anyway, so talking about more source of stuff for neuroanatomy, Dr. Najib, that famous Indian medical tutor, he is the surest source. Because of the volatility, I hope there's a word like that, but because of the volatile nature of neuroanatomy, his teachings are so popular on Telegram, online generally. You could get them and then really master neuroanatomy. So it makes sense to you. And I can assure you that if you have a very good grasp of neuroanatomy, your neurophysiology is going to be a walkover. But that is only when you have a very sure, a strong knowledge of neuroanatomy. And I can also just tell you now that you should always start with anatomy when you want to study, so that you can have a structure before you learn, the functions and physiology. For your embryology and your histology, you can rely on your class notes and your class materials. However, Sadler embryology will be a very good source, a quick and good source of stuff for you to, understand in anatomy. Some of you at some point will stop coming to class and stop reading your class notes and just focus on Professor Najib's video lessons. And I can tell you that that will not be a bad choice to make. However, always balance it with class notes so that you know what's happening. By now, you know the formula for exams already, which will be past questions and a very sharp study of your past questions within the last 5 years. It will give you a very good way to narrow down for the exam. Let's move on to physiology. Physiology. The first note to know neurophysiology is to have a good grasp of neuroanatomy. And the best way I've found to learn neuroanatomy is from Dr. Najib. For neuroanatomy, there are going to be about, I think there are 30 topics on the timetable for neurophysiology. So 30 topics on the timetable for you to have a good grasp of maybe pain, pathways, ascending and descending tracts and all that. Whatever textbook you are familiar with, go ahead and follow through. And as I said earlier, be fast, because it's a short post. In 10 weeks before you blink, before you even have an understanding of what those nerve and action potential are doing, it's already week 5. So quickly start and then follow through very well. For biochemistry, let me also say that off the bat, that there is no practicals for neuro biochemistry. There's no practical exam, so your MCQ and your theory will be 50-50%. It's just like it was in GIT, UGS, Endo. So just be very, very cautious of that. The biochemistry topics, I can also tell you off the bat that they are not much. The volume is less compared to all other three. In physiology, the practicals for neurophysiology, you might have to go back to CBD-IBS and learn resting membrane potential and action potential, and really learn all those the origin of action potential. You might have to go back and really learn those things so that you can have a very solid understanding. In fact, it's going to be on your timetable again. You have to relearn action potential, and then now you will see that you did not really understand it when you were doing CBD-IBS. I mean, we were all shocked when we discovered that, and then we learned it better. But I mean, there's a lot of repetition in medical curriculum, so there's no, I mean, there's nothing to lose so much there. So that is the structure of the posting generally. Now for your exams in anatomy, you're going to do all of them together. You're going to do head, neck, back, as well as neuro anatomy on one day, on one paper. So just be aware of that. During the practical exams, however, there will be a head and neck session, which is going to be separate from the neuro locomotor section. So you have to rotate through all of them. I just want you to be aware and have a mental picture of how the practical exam is going to be for anatomy. Your physiology exam is going to be, the practical will be an alternative practical. It's an end of posting exam, meaning there will be 5 questions, 2 LAQs to answer one from, and 3 SAQs to choose. And you can't choose, you have to answer all of them. It's going to be still 1 hour, and then a very short time for the MCQ as well. For biochemistry, it's going to be 2 LAQs to choose one from, and then 3 SAQs to answer. It's going to be a typical end of posting exam, meaning you just have 1 week of revision. And after this exam comes your MB. Traditionally in medical school, you have 2 weeks of revision before every MB. The time might change, and if it's changing, it's going to be increasing. However, just know that it's just 2 weeks. Fortunately, since your neuro anatomy would not have been so far away from you, you might just have to go back and read the other parts of the postings in preclinicals. And then just as a passing word, now you're in 300 level, you are a more mature student. Now you can see, you know organically the problem that 200 level students will face. If you help 200 level students to study by just giving them directions, you will have a very good rapport with them. And then when your MB comes, the stuff will not be so far from you. So putting someone in 200 level traction potential might seem as if it's actually a favor to that person, but it's actually more towards yourself, because your MB is already very close by. I hope this gives you a very comprehensive view of neuro anatomy, and I hope you have a very smooth sail as you study. And I really wish you good luck in your exams. And of course, there's going to be videos on orientation in 400 level when you're done with this exam. Cheers, guys.